Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Bobby helping us out as it's a very fun time in the world of horse racing as some of these summer meets are now opening up. We're having the traditional Saratoga meet opening up. And Mike, we have a nice offer for everyone all throughout the meet at Saratoga where you can get a full package with past performances for every single day and save a ton of money. There's also a package with clocker reports and betting strategies. I believe you are on site right now over at Saratoga. So I know you got a little pep in your step as the meet's just opening up.
Made it up for opening day at Saratoga. Yeah, really looking forward to getting it started. And listen, if you don't have access already, got to get in on that on those packages. Gino, it's a great way to save money. There's a lot of handicapping to be done over the next 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, you're going to play the races there most days. You just have to take advantage of the savings you could get with those sales there. So let's take a look at the field for the Blue Sparkle, the Blue Sparkler. This is going to be, I got my fireworks a little bit off there.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that we're ready to rock for this one, Mike. 5.5 furlongs on Saturday over at Monmouth Park. A couple horses coming out of the Stormy Blues, which was a turf stakes over at Laurel. You actually have the top 3 finishers from there with Biscuit with the Boss, got a Brazil and Roja. I'd imagine Anna's Call is going to be one of the top contenders in here. Just pretty good form coming out of one of the stronger races, but no real monsters or real standouts, I thought.
I agree. I thought it was a really well-matched field. Each of those, 3 horses coming out of that Laurel race, I think they're all pretty good. They're all contenders
Yeah.
in here. So, they add some intrigue here. You got the New York shipper, as you mentioned, Anna's Call, who seems like she's got some potential. There are some other horses in here that you could really make cases for. Pretty interesting race overall.
Now we can take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. Remember, these projectors are part of the All Access past performances in the package, and you can also get a look at them individually if you want to purchase those past performances. Not surprising to see Biscuit with the Boss up front. Roja has showed some speed. Serene Spirit is one that'll be cutting back. I'd imagine all of them want to be as close to the front end as possible.
There were a few horses that could try to get forward in here. It'll be interesting to see how this pace plays out. Biscuit with the Boss, I just guess by virtue of having the rail, she's probably got to bring some speed out of there, and she wants to be forward anyway. Roja showed a lot of speed last time. It'll be interesting to see if they try that again.
So we can meet the field now for the $100,000 Blue Sparkler, 5.5 furlongs up for 5.5 furlongs the distance. And we're going to go race 7 on Saturday at Monmouth Park. We got the Ted Lasso fans out in full force with Biscuit with the Boss here. Stakes placed, second start back after the 6-month break, was third in that common race behind Gata Brazil and Roja. Didn't really have the best of spots, was kind of in between horses early on. Then was 4 to 5 wide, just lengths off. Did move up to second, pressing the pace setter. Did you think this one could show some improvement off that effort?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why. It was her first start off the layoff, first start as a 3-year-old. So she had, every right, I guess, to get a little tired in there, especially, when you sort of add in the fact that they did get kind of aggressive with her. They went right up after Roja on the lead in there. They dueled into the stretch, and she just got a little tired in there, sort of paid the price. Her turf debut was fine. She ran okay last time. She will have to run better than that here, but maybe she'll do it.
It's not far behind. Need to get a little faster, though. We have a stakes winner on the dirt. We'll try turf for the first time. That's not too late. One of 4 siblings won on the turf. The Dam actually won first start on the turf, was 2 for 16 overall. You think this one can show some improvement on the green?
I don't know. I'm conflicted about it. I mean, I guess there's a little turf pedigree there, but it's not like she's bred to be a better turf horse than she is dirt horse. And I just feel like looking at her PPs as far as the main track goes, she's going to have to be better on turf if she's going to beat this field.
Completely agree. If she just transfers that dirt form over, it's still not quite good enough, I think, to compete with some of the top tier contenders in here. I wanted to try to get to Serene Spirit, Mike, because second start back after the 8-month break, the blinkers coming on, the cutback, Paco jumping aboard. I think all those are positives, but now we're stringing together a lot of races where the buyers are still in the 50s, and I just haven't seen quite enough improvement from earlier on in the career. What do you think about Serene Spirit?
I think we had the same experience handicapping her. There are things that I like about her. I just ultimately, I think I wanted to like her more than I really do. I remember really liking her career debut. I thought she ran really well that day, showing speed. I just don't really like any of her races since then. And I'm starting to wonder how good she actually is. To me, she was the toughest call in the race. I didn't want to totally dismiss her, but I couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, I was a little worried just about the money she was going to take with Paco. Like, if she floats up and she's not getting bet, She's absolutely a horse I would include in
I
exotics,
agree.
but if she is shortish and we're kind of poking some holes in her already, then I'm not sure if I want to take a short price. We have Storm Changer, who's going to try turf for the first time. This one is a New York bred stakes winner on the dirt, and the dirt form is solid. Just doesn't really have any direct turf pedigree or direct turf siblings. Still kind of bred okay overall for the grass. Chased a lone speed winner last time out. Mike, what do we do with Storm Changer?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced necessarily that she's going to be as good on turf as she is on dirt, but you know what? She's pretty good on dirt. She's run nothing but good races on the main track. And as you sort of were referencing, there's a little turf pedigree. I don't know about the sire. He's a new sire. He wasn't a turf horse himself. He doesn't have that many starters yet, so you can't really pigeonhole him. There is a little turf on the bottom of this pedigree, though. I'm a big fan of this horse, Gino. And listen, if you told me I just had to play one long shot in the race, it would probably be her.
Next one up is Win In You're In, who is another stakes winner on the dirt. This one's a multiple stakes winner on dirt who tries turf for the first time. Couple winning turf sibs. Most recently was third as the beaten favorite in the Game Face over at Gulfstream Park. Any strong opinion on this one?
I guess could bring speed into this race if they're going to run here. I don't know. I didn't really love this horse's pedigree either. Without a rider named at least early on, it makes me feel like they're just sort of hoping this race comes off the turf. Maybe I don't know if we're going to see this horse if it's a grass race, and if it is a grass race, I'm not betting her.
Anna's Call's form just makes a lot of sense in here. I mean, the one race going longer than a sprint, you can eliminate. The other three sprint races are really good. Most recently, I think we have a replay of this race from Anna's Call where was actually on the lead mid stretch and late stretch, and then just gets a little bit tired here and kind of ran like a horse who needed the race because she was coming off a layoff from November to May. So all positive, second start back after 6 months off. The only thing I looked at and I wasn't a little sure about was it feels like there might be like one work or so missing recently. Sometimes when there's just one, I don't worry quite as much. When it can get to like 2 and 3, that's when I start to worry. So I still think she fits really, really well against this group, Mike.
I agree too. It's a good spot for her, but you're right. It seems like maybe she's missed a start there in between. It's been a couple of months since that replay we just watched. That may not have been the plan. I guess we'll find out. Her good race is going to make her really tough in here. She's got speed, but she showed last time anyway, you know, that she doesn't need to be on the lead to be effective, because if nothing else, that was a really, it might not look like it on paper, that was a really fast pace, and you could see all the closers sort of come at the end and run her down there. I think she ran an underrated race last time.
Yeah, and she was in the same race with Got to Brazil, the number 7. What was interesting about that particular race, Got to Brazil was on the lead that day, and basically every other race in her career, she's come from off the pace, and that's when she's done her best racing. So I think that's really how she wants to be ridden, and that's how she wants to be handled, coming from off the pace. I mean, she just wins the Stormy Blues at 13-1 most recently last time out, getting up over Rojas. So I think for her, Mike, it comes down to trip and maybe tactics.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, we were just referencing that pace 2 starts back at Ecuador. She's the one who was cutting that pace. It was really fast, and she paid the price. So this is her most recent start. This trip really works out for her, but she also really runs in here. I mean, Rojas on a clear lead here. She's already put away Biscuit with the Boss, and she's clear. And Gata Brazil's going to come and close her down at the end. It's a good trip, but she runs in here, Gino. And she was also really, really impressive, I thought, when she broke her maiden first time on turf last year. I mean, she's got some real ability. She's a dangerous horse in here. If this is where they run, it's worth noting she's cross-entered into the Coronation Cup at Saratoga on Friday.
I think we have a couple in here that are cross-entered, could run either Friday or on Saturday, but Got to Brazil certainly fits. And Roja, Mike, is the one who we saw who had that lead and was shortening stride a little bit late. But the 2 grass races, very, very good. Might have just kind of moved a little early. And sometimes when we see horses get that clear, they maybe get a little lost on the front end. And I don't think she ran poorly in that race at all.
I don't either, especially when you consider too, Gino. It's Laurel, man. That's a long stretch for those turf sprinters to have to navigate. You could see it in that replay there. She just couldn't hold on, but she dueled the pace. I thought ran well. Her maiden win 2 starts back was also really good. I thought anyway. She was more conservatively ridden that day, and she did get a perfect trip. But I thought she ran well that day too. She's going to be tough in here.
Rounding out the field is Loris, and I'm not quite sure at this moment how good she really is or if she's improved from some of the races earlier on in her career, Mike, but she is certainly coming out of some of the stronger races. That race she comes out of with She's So Spicy and the Mademoiselle. She's So Spicy won that race with a 90 Beyer speed figure. There were also 2 other next out winners in there. You go a couple starts back, Chloe, that's a grade 3 placed runner. So just a lot of her recent form has been against better. I'm a little bit worried about the trip she might get from the outside, but I think she fits from a class standpoint really well with this group.
I agree. I feel like this might be the right spot to run her in finally, because I think it's hard to tell if she just hasn't improved from 2 to 3, because she actually started out with some potential as a 2-year-old. Maybe she hasn't improved, but maybe, as the point you're sort of making is maybe she's just been in a little bit too tough recently. And now she's finally back in a better spot. She was a tough call for me, Gino, but I really respect her in this race.
Yeah, I think there are a couple horses in here that are those kind of tricky reads as we
Yeah.
move to selections. Remember, the two outside horses are entered for the main track only. So, Mike, as we move to selections in here for the Blue Sparkler, how do you want to stack them up?
Yeah, I'm just going to try Anna's call in here. I think they're shipping her out of New York and into a logical spot here. I like pretty much all of her races anyway, Gino, and I really respect the fact that she's tactical. She's got speed, but if they go fast early, she's able to sit just off of it.
And I put her in the second spot. I think she's the horse to beat. For Mike, it's 6, 8, 7, 9. We have the same 4 horses, just in a slightly different order. I'm going to go 9, 6, 7, 8. Maybe we can get a little more value to the outside with Loris. So Monmouth Park, they've got a couple big weeks coming up with the Haskell in just a few weeks. Hopefully we can get a little bankroll builder this weekend in the Blue Sparkle. Good luck.